Good morning, good morning, good morning. I pray that everybody's up in their glory on this Monday morning. I got to get up in a few hours myself, but I said, this troubled me so kind of way last night. But before I get into my conversation, let me go into my Father's prayer. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day, Lord, our daily bread. And forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who have trespassed against us. Lead us not into temptation, Lord, but deliver us from all evil. For thou you are the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever and ever. Amen. Now, this is what I wanted to talk about, y'all. This has been troubling my spirit this morning. It's been troubling me kind of sort of last night. And, it's been 7 years, 7 years since we all, his R. Kelly supporters, we've been fighting this fight against the government, against this trial that we saw that was injustice done to Robert Sylvester Kelly. And they know what they're doing. And they know that this has been a mistrial. Because if you could see here from the post that I have posted here, this photo, I wrote the NY, which is the Eastern District of New York trial, right, came before the Eastern District of Illinois trial. And right there is suspect. So we're going to go over some things that I have been posting here on my community wall because I wanted to shine some light on this. Like, people, we've been talking, but people are not listening. Or if they are listening, they don't seem to care. And this is important because actually this can happen to anybody. But notice how this has been happening a lot to more black, prominent black men in the entertainment industry. It has happened over the years to Michael Jackson. It has happened to Bill Cosby. It has happened, even though Bill Cosby is still here with us, but he's an elderly man and we don't hear much about him too much in the public anymore. But still, in all, now they attack Diddy. And we got these now social media platforms that they get on their platforms to destroy their character in the public, to destroy them in the public, just like what they done to R. Kelly. R. Kelly wasn't supposed to, and I spoke on this even before, that R. Kelly wasn't supposed to go out there vulnerable the way he was and no protection around him. Him being on that platform with Joycelyn and Azarel didn't look good. It was already the setup. How they did everything. When Gayle King came and did that interview, but she did the interview, I believe, in the Trump Plaza, because that's where he was staying at the time. So he didn't come out and go. I don't think he came out and went to the studio. He came. They were right there. It was set up right there inside a room that they had at the Trump Plaza. That's where they did the interview in Chicago, where he lived. So that right there, and then Steve Greenberg, who was supposed to have been his attorney at the time, was not there protecting R. Kelly in the public. You see, and he shouldn't even had allowed R. Kelly to do that interview because R. Kelly wasn't mentally ready for that. He wasn't. He was just right now under so much pressure from the media, from everything that was coming at R. Kelly during that time. So it was like it was an ambush. It was like a hit. Like Steve Greenberg just left him. But we're gonna go into it because I wrote it down here and I said, why did the NDNY trial come first? The government strategy used RICO to set the tone. Federal prosecutors in New York brought the first case using the racketeer influence and corrupt organization, a law created to go after mob bosses and organized crime. By doing this, they didn't need multiple credible victims in New York. They could package alleged acts across state, Illinois, California, under the umbrella of one criminal enterprise. This allowed Judge Ann Donnelly to let in allegations from non New York victims and prior bad act witnesses, even if they were never formally charged or proven, something that never should have flown in a standard trial. Chicago federal prosecutors didn't object. The feds in Chicago allowed Eastern District of New York to take the lead. This is not common. When most evidence and witnesses are located in your own district, it appears to be coordinated, suggesting political or institutional motives, especially when Illinois' trial was much weaker on paper, but was delayed anyway. See, we were so ignorant of the law. So before this even happened, being that R. Kelly fans and supporters was out there, I don't know the law like that. So when you ignorant of the law, you don't see how the moving pieces are going and how they strategizing their move and how they were taking advantage of the law and acting like criminals to criminal R. Kelly. You see, and this is something that I just said, wait a minute, why did they do this trial in New York and R. Kelly didn't have any victims in New York? So we're going to get into that as I'm going down the line. And I said, public narrative, first facts later. Eastern District, New York, let the prosecutors tell a sweeping story to the jury that R. Kelly was a predator running a criminal organization. By going first, they set the national narrative, poisoned public opinion, and made future juries and judges biased before facts were truly weighed. All right. Greenberg, okay, should have fought to stop this or presented a stronger pretrial motion to serve to sever Rico from state level acts, but he didn't. You see what I'm saying? And I said the most notable was Faith Rogers, who had a public relationship with R. Kelly and sued him after they broke up. Her case raised questions because she attended concerts after alleged abuse. She was over the age of consent. She admitted their relationship was consensual. Yet prosecutors still used her to support the Rico. And let me tell you, Gloria Allred, I didn't get into her. She was representing, she's the district attorney of New York. What did she have to do? You see how they strategically did it? They went to Gloria Allred. She was the district attorney of New York. And she shouldn't have had allowed it. And Kim Fox was the district attorney of Chicago. And and I don't think Kim Fox allowed it. But we're going to go on. Okay. This was how dirty they moved. Most of the core allegations came from Chicago-based women, yet somehow New York was allowed to try R. Kelly first. And I was always saying that. Why are they trying? Why is his trial in New York going first when there is no victims? Why? Everything was supposed to have been in Chicago. It wasn't supposed to be in New York. Steve Greenberg firm was in Chicago, not New York. And we're going to go on now because I did my research. I put everything out there. I outlined everything, had everything outlined for me as I was asking these questions. Steve Greenberg, responsibility. Greenberg should have fought jurisdiction harder. He should have challenged the RICO structure as unconstitutional when applied to consensual relationships and music business arrangement. But instead, he let the Eastern District of New York case go forward, withdrew before trial. Notice that he withdrew before trial and let R. Kelly with a disjointed legal team unfamiliar with federal RICO cases. The bottom line, New York had no business leading this trial. The charges were inflated using RICO targeting R. Kelly like a mafia boss. Steve Greenberg, as his lead Chicago based attorney, failed to protect him from that legal ambush. So this is why I was saying that Steve Greenberg played a pivotal role in the setup of R. Kelly. And he did it in a way where he can make himself look clean. He knows the law. He practiced law. He's an attorney. And this is not like he didn't know the how this was supposed to have been done. But he was a part of the setup. And this is why I've been bringing this out to the public and I've been saying it. But right now, if you search things, it's like, oh, well, when he withdrew the trial, that wasn't an illegal thing to do. And he left the burden on, listen to what I'm saying, he left the burden on Nicole Blank Becker and Thomas Farinelli, and he brought Devereaux Canick, who I believe did. I got to go back and find out who he represented and won a case for, because he's the only one who had jurisdiction really in New York. Remember, they had to get Nicole to get a license to practice law in New York. So that's why some things were held up. Steve withdrew from the trial 2 months before the trial. The trial happened in, I believe, in August. And Steve withdrew from the trial in June. And it wasn't illegal for him to do that. And then he wasn't giving R. Kelly any kind of adequate counseling. It was inadequate because he wasn't coming and sitting with his client even for 8 hours or whatever. What's his name had to gather all as much as they can to fight the case. It was already going forward in New York. And if you notice how Nicole's face looked, that's why Nicole was making so many errors in that case. And Ann Donnelly, she knew it. But still in all, she still slammed R. Kelly with a RICO. All these people knew the law. They knew how they supposed to protect Steve, of course, was supposed to how he was supposed to protect R. Kelly because he was his attorney. And Ann Donnelly knew because she's sitting up on that bench to be a judge. So she's at the highest level to know the law. If she's going to sit there on that bench to be the judge. And how come R. Kelly keep getting all of these denied appeals? His health has been in risk, okay, and all of that. So this is just something that need to be brought in the public, and I wasn't going to ignore it because this man's life is on the line. I'm sorry, and forget about Sharon Wimbush. I already got that. Y'all go back and read it if you want. To the public about the injustice surrounding R. Kelly, the injustice. I wrote about things that was about his health. I'm just bringing all of that out there. All of that. Because these people operated. That's another thing. I'm just going on my page right now. All right. The truth about Steve Greenberg, because I know a lot of people probably didn't come across this on my community post. And I just wanted to bring it on people's attention here on my in my live this morning, and I said, facts matter. The truth about Steve Greenberg legal record. Steve Greenberg, the same attorney who once represented R. Kelly, also defended Drew Peterson, the former Illinois police surgeon convicted in 2012 of murdering his third wife, Kathleen Savio. During the trial, Greenberg was fired by co-counsel mid-trial for what was described as poor performance, including failing to object during crucial testimony. Look what he did to R. Kelly. Despite trying to return later during post convictions appeals, Greenberg's legal efforts failed to overturn the conviction. He doesn't have a good record. Peterson remains behind bars. If Greenberg couldn't protect a police officer in a high profile trial, what hope did R. Kelly have with him at the defense table? Don't ignore the pattern. The facts are public. That's why I had to bring that to the public. I said R. Kelly was failed inadequate counsel left the burden on Nicole Blank Becker. Thomas Farinelli and Devereaux Cadnick joined the Eastern District of New York trial. Court TV holds the receipts. Where was the real legal strategy? And Court TV exposed it all. And how they exposed it all? Because he's on court TV, sounding like this great attorney. He knows how to put on a show in front of the public. And Steve, that's his strength. He can get out there and speak very well out in the public and sit on platforms. And you see Court TV been having him on these platforms. Even during the Diddy trial, he's been having a lot of stuff to say on the Diddy trial. So people sometimes get entertained by what Steve says because he speaks very well publicly. But look how he filled that case with Peterson's case, the police sergeant who killed his third wife. That case, how he flunked that case, and it was a high profile case. You could go and do your research. And guess who was bringing all of this to our attention? But we were being so distracted at all the nonsense that was going on around us, all the back and forth of chaos and everything during that time when people were bringing some things, pointing out some things on their platform. And one of the people that was doing it was Dr. Rice, Dr. Charles Rice. Then all came the drama. Dana J., Levi for Kelly, Sharon Wimbush. These were the three key people that kept all the nonsense going on around R. Kelly's support. Dana J., Levi, because with that so-called defense fund that was being raised, and it wasn't really going towards what it was supposed to be for R. Kelly. It was going into their own pockets. They were scamming and milking and taking advantage and financially abusing R. Kelly's support team. And Sharon Wimbush, now she did say something about it, but her distractions was how she came in. We never saw her face. We didn't really know if anything she was telling us was true. We didn't know really who she was working for. She just came out of nowhere. And I remember when she first did her interview, she did her interview on Phase's channel. Let me see. Playlist. That's not the videos that I want. It's not a video that I want. But she did this interview on Phase's channel. That's where she made her first introduction. She did it on Phase's. And that's why I say Phase's, she knows something, but she's not saying it. She's not speaking the truth. All of a sudden, she just went and rebranded herself. She first was Phase's, then she went to Black Link Experience, and then she changed the name to Black Link Reporting Me. And, people like that, when they got this, who's behind that? Who's really behind that mic? You know what I'm saying? Like, she knows information, but she's staying quietly about it. And that's not good. That's not good. I don't find that good at all. And she knows a lot more than what we know. Because she had a chance to have these people on her platform to interview these people. So it was on her watch. This is how we got to know Dana J. This is how we got to know Sharon Wimbush. They all were introduced by Phases. What did she do? She scrubbed her Phases page, her platform of all her videos and everything else. So we can't really find. I don't have any copies of. I think I just found one somewhere. Somebody had it, but I have it. But it's in my. It's somewhere. I had seen the video, but I'm gonna look for it and I'm gonna show you because I did come across one. Um, I did come across one, and that's when she introduced Sharon Wimbush on her platform. That's when she made the introduction, and I'm saying like people know all of this information, and they know that man life is hanging out there. Okay, so we got to keep moving. We got to keep fighting. We got to keep doing what we got to do. And like I said, be quiet on the document if that's with the Tasha K thing, whatever. But right now, we want to point out some things to the public, okay, of how this justice system has been so wrong towards Robert Sylvester Kelly. Because we're his voice out here. We, the people out here for him. Nobody else seems to care but us. And at least maybe somebody will see this stuff and take a look at it. You never know. I said, when this justice system act like the criminal, R. Kelly health being ignored. Even when his life is on the line, R. Kelly is still being denied basic human rights. Let that sink in. He is reportedly suffering from serious health issues, blood clots in his leg, lung problems, traveling clots that could become fatal. Yet, despite these emergencies, the system continues to deny proper treatment, delay urgent care, and act as if his health doesn't matter. I said, this is no longer justice, it's vengeance. This isn't just about a trial anymore. It's about a system that is actively ignoring medical emergencies, almost as if hoping for the worst. In America, prisoners are still citizens. They have rights. They are supposed to be protected under the Constitution. But R. Kelly case shows how the justice system will strip away even your right to medical care if they have it out for you. The courts are playing God. They denied his appeal. They ignored procedural failures. Now they're ignoring his physical well being. That is abuse of power. That is injustice. Okay? I said you don't have to agree with him to agree that this is wrong. When a system becomes more dangerous than the people it punishes, we all should be afraid. The same way they treat R. Kelly today, they could treat anyone tomorrow. And R. Kelly said that in his song. This could be you. I said, stop the abuse, demand medical rights for incarcerated people, and demand justice, not cruelty. And this justice system has been acting very cruel. And this is America. This is America. Now, I said this part about Steve. I did another one on Steve. Stop getting rich off of R. Kelly's music. He's behind some of this stuff that's set up over R. Kelly. I'm telling y'all. He is behind all of this. Because he was out there showing like he's R. Kelly's legal defense and he didn't show no love. He did not show no love. That's why R. Kelly fired him. R. Kelly didn't trust him. I said it's connected now. I said Sharon claimed to be a loyal supporter of R. Kelly, but the deeper you look, the clearer it becomes she was sent to destroy from within. Andrea Kelly didn't know her. Remember Demetria Smith, who was working as R. Kelly's former tour manager, didn't know her either because he was questioned about her because it was another girl that used to have a I don't know what happened to her, but she used to come out and she used to be out there vocal about a lot of stuff. And she was reading the book that he was supposed to have written. And then she went and said she went to visit him and he kissed her and all this other stuff. And she says, well, she came on, what was her name? Something Diamond. And she said, yeah, I'm not talking to you because you went and did abusive things to Sharon Wimbush. Sharon Wimbush that said some fucked up shit about Demetrius. So she came and she questioned it, and Demetrius Smith was like, I don't know that woman. I don't even know who she is. Never saw her, never met her. And there's a lot of people that said they never knew her. They didn't know her. And she worked in R. Kelly. Even he used how, what made it more suspicious that I know she's working somewhere behind the scene with the industry, or she either working for PR, some PR for the industry or whatever like that, to come out and say she worked for R. Kelly. She knows Sparkle. She saw all these things when she was in R. Kelly's home, around him, in the proximity of him. All of this stuff that she claimed she did, but nobody saw any evidence. No photos with her and R. Kelly. Where did you ever see a photo with Sharon Wimbush with R. Kelly, Drea, Sparkle, and all the people that she was out here talking on? None. None. The same photo been circulating for 7 years, y'all. People questioned it. Even what's his name, Choke No Joke, went on his platform. He questioned it. Bruce didn't know this, but remember, Bruce had an addiction. So how we didn't get Bruce some money and just say, or that was his way, he was in some legal, before R. Kelly was locked up, his brother was already incarcerated. They made it sure that R. Kelly didn't have nobody out there. To look how they went into his family members. They know Bruce was incredible because Bruce was they went to interview him on the document while he was incarcerated. This is what they did to his family. And when they also did what they did to his brother Carrie, had him out there, Carrie and everything, knowing him and R. Kelly always had a falling out with each other, and they both was always civil rivalry, whatever it is, but they still family. You know what I'm saying? But they put him out there to go against his brother and say that R. Kelly lied about it. And if you notice, Carrie wasn't even showing his face to the camera when they were doing it. Carrie's face was turned from the camera. He was sitting in a certain way when he went on Kaci K's platform. An addict will say anything when he got an addiction. And he needs a fix. And I think I had posted something out there before on my platform about how Sharon Wimbush was exploiting R. Kelly family members. And remember, she was going on people's platforms trying to control what Bruce would say. She was trying to get Bruce attention in the inside the chat and trying to tell Bruce, don't say this, don't say that. Then she ran to her platform. You see, this is what she did. I was watching how this woman was moving. And every time I was calling out, people still going over there. But I guess the people that were over there wasn't R. Kelly fans anyway. They were just there to be entertained. They didn't really care about R. Kelly. Those people were just entertained. They just infiltrators. They not really there. They wasn't really people for in the best interest of R. Kelly anyway. Because if you were in the best interest of R. Kelly, you're going to question certain things. And you're going to question certain people that come and speak on his behalf. I know who I am. I'm not a R. Kelly. Look, I'm not a girlfriend. I've never been a girlfriend. Okay. And I'm not in love with R. Kelly like to be in a romantic relationship with him. I love R. Kelly because he's a man. He's a beautiful artist. I love his gift. I admire his gifts, his talent, his work, and his music. His music and things that I got in common with R. Kelly and that type of way. Now, there's some people that want to have a romantic relationship with him, want him to be their man, their husband. They fantasize about that. But that's not my fantasy. I have a man. You see, that's not my fantasy. My thing is that I think of, the humanity behind all of this, the humanity, the injustice. And I'm a fan. And I question in these things because it's been going on, and going on, and nobody's really being very vocal about it. Nobody's really trying to take a stand because they got something to hide. But it could be you. It could be you. And one thing about being a Christian is that we should never overlook injustice, whether we know the person or not. Injustice is injustice. Just like I spoke on some things, just like, let me move my picture just in case y'all reading this and I'm talking. Okay. Just like I had spoke on some things about what recently had happened with that woman in McDonald's. The first thing I looked at is the well being of her family members, the well being of her children, and making sure that they were going to be okay and helping that family in any kind of way that I was able to put information out there. Because I already told you this is what the Kaci McDaniel channel is about. It's about injustice and how I was motivated and influenced to even come out here publicly on a platform and put myself out here on the sake of Robert Sylvester Kelly. And now I see that Robert Sylvester Kelly still hasn't received any justice. So I'm going at everything I can as a fan and as a supporter and one of his senior fans to point out some things. Hoping and praying, and these are my prayers that are being offered up, that somebody will see what I am putting out there. Somebody that knows that they can catch this and they can go and help Robert Sylvester Kelly even before he has to go through this battle with Tasha K, because he still needs his health to be properly cared for. I'm not going to wait till the last minute. This is not until January. But before that, I want to put some stuff out there that he can be on an earlier release, that somebody, that compassion will fall on somebody's heart. Somebody will hear this. These are my prayers being offered. My prayers ain't just saying empty words. My prayers are in action. This is why I felt this information was important to bring to the public, even to social media. The trial is over, but these are the things that we missed. And we were out there. His fans were out there. We was small in numbers, but our voices were loud. Those who took the streets in Chicago, those who took the streets in New York. I didn't go to no Chicago protest, but I've been in one at least in New York. And that's where the first trial took place, was in New York. Had my husband out there with me, but he stayed in the car or whatever because he couldn't really find no place to park it in this thing, so he had to sit in the car. And we walked those streets of New York. That's when I was able to be up and close in front with Sylvia, Daddy Lolo, Texas Black Diamond. I got to meet and some other people that were out there. I'm not familiar with their faces or their names or anything. I'm familiar more with their face than their names, but I have been active in this fight. That's why these ones that be putting all these collages and everything. Where, yeah, you've been active on social media, but not once have you came from behind that computer. That's why I be like, these people ain't no, that's what I'm questioning. But I could say this about Dana J, and I've always said it. At least he has been out there to the courthouse, and at least he has been in a protest for Robert Sylvester Kelly. But the only thing with Dana J is that he's a clout chaser and a lot of chaos. He may have some genuine care in this fight, But because of that kind of behavior makes him suspect with the chaos. Don't know how to control his emotions as a man. Always in some woman fighting with women on the platform, and we're trying to get schemes and scams and money and goofy stuff like this once this stuff is serious. That's why I call him out as a chaos the person that brings a whole lot of chaos around. Goofy stuff, noise and goofy stuff. As a man that's supposed to be standing in a fight for his so-called him being the mentee of R. Kelly. You got to be strong in battle. You can't be coming here in a fight like this, especially for a man to lead the battle. To lead the battle. We all women out there, but we need some strong men to have led us in the fight. Then we got Dabowski, the criminal, the habitual criminal, the what they call a criminal again, the professional, whatever. But let me tell you, I could say all of that, but one thing I could say about Dabowski, at least this I can say about Dabowski, is that he been out there stomping the ground, and I put his, I already said what his character was around this whole thing, but he did bring some good stuff around this movement, and we don't want to go that like say too much bad stuff on his character, but just pray for him. This is what I said about Dabowski because we can't overlook that. You give credit when credit is due. I've got everybody out there that I felt did something good here, you know, to remember them while I can. I said Christopher Gunn, aka Dabowski, the unofficial soldier, the Enterprise who rolled too hard. Dabowski Gunn was one of the most explosive and polarizing figures in the R. Kelly support movement. He created the Enterprise platform full of raw energy, straight loyalty, and deep frustration at the system. He shared some strong points, but he also crossed serious boundaries. After R. Kelly was attacked in MCC, Dabowski wanted to be locked up just to protect him. He saw him as a Peter, a biblical defendant, willing to go to war. And I said, but here's the truth. R. Kelly doesn't know Christopher Gunn. He never invited him, never instructed him. And that's where things got dangerous because passion without permission becomes a liability. I still pray for Dabowski, but I know now some fans meant well, but took things too far. And that's exactly what the government feared, super fans with no boundaries. So, I mean, I made sure I put his character out there, but I've been truthful about it, but also give him credit for his fight in this fight for Robert Sylvester Kelly. And I believe he's still out there fighting. I don't know. I don't go to his channel. I don't even know if he have a channel right now, but these are the things I didn't know about him. And I questioned him as well because of this, his background. And I wrote about Hollywood Next, which is the rise and the fire of Hollywood Next. Rootless, righteous, raw. When Hollywood Next first stepped into the R. Kelly support clique, she made waves with her soft voice, Christian faith, and strong spiritual discernment. And the reason I use that is because when she made her first introduction, she did come with a way of a Christian and with faith, and it was strong and with some discernment because she was starting to call out Dana J. Like, hey, is this fun? Y'all sending money to Dana J? Is this a scam? Is he scamming y'all? Whatever. She questioned it and she brought it to the attention of the R. Kelly support group. At that time when we were supposed to all been a group and one group called Team Cows. Day ones. And it says, but behind her gentle tone was a woman with a street edge, fiercely and calling out frauds and exposing schemes. And she did. She called out the sisters, the fake sisters. She came after Carolina Diamond. She called her out. She was fake. And then she called out Dana J. And she called out a few other people. Maybe I wasn't around sometimes because it was a lot of people. She called out Block Bender. She told about how he was out here showing his little dick photos, sitting them out here to R. Kelly female fans and everything else like that, thinking we all wanted to get on R. Kelly. Like, it was like a understatement, like stuff he was trying to point out. But you see, he done ran away and scrubbed his page, and we never saw him again, and caused a lot of conflict and confusion around the R. Kelly supporters. Caused stuff between me and Spit and Fire. And I was trying, yeah, that's another story. But anyway, let's move on. And I said, one of the earliest and boldest moves, unmashing Dana J's fraudulent Dollar the King Fund, a fake defense fund that siphoned money from trusting fans. When Hollywood Next called him out, Dana didn't take it lightly. He attacked her viciously, but she refused to back down. She was messing with his bag, and he knew it. All of this I was writing down, and I had to type it up, and I had to post, put this, on my laptop, everything else as I was going along trying to fill in some things because I can't remember everybody. I can remember some things. There's still some people that I'm trying to find that was a part of this at one time, but I can't seem to get everybody because I'm getting older now. It's been 7 years, so these are the people that have stood out the most that I was able to. Okay, hold on, y'all. Okay. Yeah, that was my alarm. I was like, hey, oh, But anyway, these are some people, and if I can't remember everybody, charge it to my head and not to my heart. That's all I can say. Member faces used to say that. Charge it to my head and not to my heart. Well, I'm charging it to your heart this time because the thing is, phases that you do remember and you do know, okay, of all the stuff that was going on around this R. Kelly stuff, and some more deeper stuff than we know, and a lot of people that could have been behind some of the being some of the suspects of the people that hurt R. Kelly's chances of his freedom. But now you want to just try to move on. You can't move on with something like that. How you going to win when you not right within? How? The wicked don't prosper. That's wicked. But then want to use God in your wickedness. Yeah, call her out. And yeah, so this is what Hollywood Next was about. She was fair. She came straightforward. She was fire. And I don't know if she still got a platform. If she do come to a platform, because I haven't seen her around lately. But these were just some old things that I was able to find of her. That's how I was able to capture one of her old photos or whatever like that. While Hollywood Next had her filters and at times struck below the belt, especially when going at leaders of the opposing platforms, including the father of Azarel. Her rage was fueled by what she believed was truth and betrayal. Let's not forget the facts. Azarel Cleary's parents lied about her age to get her into the industry and into proximity with R. Kelly. That's a fact check. Their real motive, extortion. Azrael herself exposed it out on the Gail King platform, remember in the interview, and again joined the Indian Y trial, where she was flipped by federal pressure, Old Cobb, to testify against R. Kelly. See, she even at the Eastern District of New York trial, she even testified that her mother groomed her into setup to meet with R. Kelly when her mother lied and said she consented her daughter to be with R. Kelly for that meeting for her to have proximity to him because she wanted to work with him on her music craft. So that's what her mother said when they confirmed it. Her mother says she's 18. It's okay for her to work with R. Kelly, blah blah blah. And this happened not even in Chicago, but was at the Dolphin Hotel when they were scouting out talent, I guess, and people that wanted to work with R. Kelly. And her mother gave her the fucking consent. Okay? Then this little bitch gonna turn around. Then they try to extort him, the father. And she mostly focused on her father on the Gayle King platform because she kept saying my father is a manipulator and he's a liar. He wanted me to do this, that, and the other with R. Kelly when she was underage and she wouldn't do it. She says she didn't do anything with R. Kelly when she was 17 or anything of that nature. She said I was now, and she said it, and the proof is the receipts are out there, y'all. But they still found a way to try to prosecute R. Kelly and make him sound guilty of being a predator. Okay, I said Azrael was never a victim. Her relationship with R. Kelly, as she stated before, being flipped, was consensual. Hollywood Next wasn't perfect, but she was real. A vicious female fan from the streets, unarmed, what I'm talking about, unarmed, unafraid to rant, rage, and fight for what she believed was injustice done to Robert Sylvester Kelly. Okay? Here's phases. All these damn masks that she wears. Spiritual confusion or strategic deception. Please, Phases has rebranded 3 times. Phases, Black Link Experience, and Black Link Reporting Me. That's now the name of her channel. Black Link Reporting Me. When a platform keeps changing its name, something deeper is going on. You don't run from truth unless you're trying to hide from it. And that's why I put it out there. She hiding from something. But then she jumping on on the bandwagon with Diddy and also with Shannon Sharp and trying to attack people, Donald Trump. She want to be a part of something. And she know things and she don't want to bring it to the to the light, to the truth. She want to hide behind these masks. Okay? Her entire Phases channel was scrubbed. The same channel where she used to put on the Christian woman at. Welcome to Phases. Charge it to my head and not my heart. God loves everybody. Mhm. Now ask yourself what spirit is really operating behind that mic. This ain't the real actually picture of Phases, but it is her picture, but it's like kind of like AI. Okay, I put the repent thing out there. I put that out there. And yeah, this Marvin Sapp character, I put that out there. And this is my most important. This is the one I try to stay the most on because people think that R. Kelly just did this remix. And I had to write it down. That R. Kelly speaking facts. Let's clear it up. Residuals is not a Chris Brown song. R. Kelly wrote it. That's his plane, his story, and the genius behind every word. See, R. Kelly wrote the song and gave it. And when R. Kelly wrote the song, remember, they stole all R. Kelly's music and a lot of stuff from R. Kelly. So when they did the song Residuals, actually, Chris Brown sung it as for a woman. But R. Kelly came back and put a remix on it and say, no, this ain't about no chick. And that's why R. Kelly was able to take it to the limit that he did because it's originally his song. Because they stole a lot of R. Kelly's music. They leaked a lot of R. Kelly's music. And they all the videotaping of his music and everything from his studio. So, of course, Chris Brown was able to work with it and make it sound like a female song. But R. Kelly is the original person of the song. That's why R. Kelly had to come out and do the remix on it. And they wouldn't have never allowed R. Kelly to do it because Jennifer Bonjean, after he did it, Jennifer Bonjean confirmed that it was his song. It was R. Kelly. So somehow or the other, R. Kelly was able to get the people to come in and say, look, that's my music out there. Somebody singing that song. I know that song. That's his pen. Blah, 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 blah. I'm going to put a remix on it. And I'm going to let everybody know who owns that song. And notice when the battle of the remix was going around, when R. Kelly did it, everybody was like, he won the battle. The battle is over. The battle was over because R. Kelly was the writer of the song. That's why the battle was over. Because when R. Kelly came out, he stopped it all like, boom, this is my song. Can't nobody touch your work. This is R. Kelly's music. And that's what I was trying to make clear to people. And everybody want to say, oh, Chris Brown, you can't do that to a person. You can't take the song of an artist, and especially if he at the height of R. Kelly as the king of R&B, and he ain't even dead, he's still alive, and you out here trying to, cramp his style and steal from his music and steal his gift. That is not R. Kelly's style in the game. If he's going to do a remix of the song, it gotta be his. And then on top of that, R. Kelly won't remix a song of a person unless they're dead. If it's not his. He said that already to Trey Songz when Trey Songz was trying to make himself the king of R&B and be disrespectful. Look what happened to his ass. Where he at now? Nothing they tried to do to harm this man while he's still living and trying to put somebody else out there, some top artist out there to become the king. You can't take that title from him, or you will fail. Chris Brown now is locked up in some prison in the United Kingdom, back in jail in trouble again. Every time you turn around, he's back and forth in trouble. Everybody talking about, oh, well, that's Jay-Z doing it. That ain't Jay-Z doing a damn thing. That's the spirit. That's R. Kelly knocking his ass back in them damn jails. Don't try to think you're gonna chomp over me and be the king of R&B. I may be locked up here in jail, but God knows who my name, God knows where I'm at, and God knows the spirit of God. And it says, let it be clear it up. Residuals is not a Chris Brown song. In the remix, he said it loud. This ain't about no chick. This was about the industry robbing him, writing platinum records for top artists and still not seeing the rightful residuals. See, when R. Kelly wrote that song, he was writing the song about what was happening at that time of him stealing his money, robbing him, and then he put a thing on it about his residuals. Okay, now he's locked up. These niggas ain't even trying to help me out and give me no money, but they out here making hits after hits. He says, didn't I build you up when I wrote you all those hits? Now now you're not gonna show me love. Because I'm not talking about no chick. Tell me who's gonna, you see what I'm saying? That's what R. Kelly was saying. He was telling them, you singing on my song, you out here making money, you out here getting built up in your career off of my songs, off of my work, but ain't none of y'all giving me no residuals. Ain't nobody sending me no love. Ain't nobody showing me no love. Y'all not even sending no money to my commissary. How grimy is that? But y'all out here talking about y'all king, and that ain't no, kings don't move like that. Well, anyway, y'all, I'm running out of time in this morning video, but I may or may not come back with you in the evening. So I had to touch on that residual thing, and we already went over this part. I'm only just sharing with you the stuff that I shared about R. Kelly out here, and most important things I shared about is the things about what Steve Greenberg did. Okay, how he moved strategically to set R. Kelly up in that trial. He knows the law. R. Kelly's not an attorney. He's an attorney. How he damaged R. Kelly's name out there in the public, how he gonna say two sides of the fence, straddle two sides of the fence, try to make his hands look clean when he was dirty in it all along, moving like a mob boss, exactly like a criminal, like a mob boss, in his hands, crooked politicians, dirty judges, dirty everything around that man's case. Everybody was dirty. Nicole and them, they was just caught in they was just had they poor Nicole and poor Thomas Farinelli. They were just two struggling attorneys that had to go out there in the battlefield. He sent them out there to lose. He was dirty. Yes, I called him out. He was a dirty, crooked attorney. He moved like a dong on mafia. He working for the industry, dirty. I called him out. So with that being said, yeah, Kaci McDaniel, yeah, that's my name, Kaci McDaniel. I'm right here, standing on the, right here, Kaci McDaniel. This is my channel. R. Kelly supporter and diehard fan, and I seen the dirtiness y'all did to this man's in the industry, and which I have done in his trial in New York and in Chicago. Chicago just picked up on and added more from with New York, because that trial in Chicago was weak too. Y'all some dirty low life. Y'all did a mob hit on R. Kelly's career. Y'all did a mob hit on his life and everything, and y'all still think y'all playing God. But God got something for all of y'all. So with that being said, you all have a blessed and wonderful Monday. Peace.